All right, good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock. Welcome to the Newfane Selectboard meeting. It's October 4th, 2021. There's Shelly Huber, Ann Golub, myself, Angela Sanborn in person, Mike Fitzpatrick on phone, and Katy Johnson-Aplin via Zoom. We have lots of members from the Planning Commission, Lynn, Ken, and Kate. And we have our treasurer, Melissa, and our administrative assistant, Juanetta, and Austin Rice from BCTV. Thanks for being here tonight. And we'll get right started and go to the additions and amendments to the agenda.
Nothing for me.
Anyone?
None, so moved.
Excellent. And we'll go to the September 7th approval of the BLC meeting.
Board of Liquor Control.
Board of Liquor Control. Thank you, Juanetta.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as they're written.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions?
Abstention.
Great. So moving on to the September 20th regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to.
I make a motion.
I think Ann's got it.
Ann has it. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Abstentions? Great. And the September 20th Board of Liquor Control minutes. Motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Abstentions? I think Mike and Katie weren't. No, Katie was here for this one, wasn't she?
No, Katie's not listening.
Yes. Yes, I was here for the last meeting.
The Board of Liquor Control ones, yes.
Yeah, so we need to amend the minutes.
And then to add,
Oh, yeah, because she made the motion to approve it.
we need to go back and do a motion as amended to add Katie.
I make such a motion.
Second? As amended. You still second, Shelley, as
I'll
amended?
second it.
As amended. All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Abstention? This would be Mike. Great, thank you. And Jay, we are ready for your report.
Okay. Walter Crockett on Upper Railroad Lane wants to fix storm damage on the legal trail. And I told him he had to get permission from the select board to repair it. His property's out in the middle somewhere, and he can't, where a chunk along the stream there washed out July 20th storm. So he'll need your permission to proceed.
So, what exactly is he needing to do?
It's a legal trail, Railroad Lane is.
Yeah,
From River Road down to Route 30 down near the bridge, the bottom of the hill by Depot.
yeah.
And in order to make improvements to the road, which is basically put it back so you can pass through it, he just needs the select board's permission to work on a legal trail.
So that was something that you could actually go on with a vehicle or by walking?
It's gotten to the point where it was good with four-wheelers and stuff, but that was about it. But
Yeah.
now it's not even passable that way.
I think that's a reasonable thing for somebody to take on.
Yeah, if he wants to
Just as long
work
as,
on it.
yeah, there's no liability on our side of it.
No.
So-
We've had other people request on legal trails, and they've always permitted it. Bound Road was one of the other ones that was done. So
Somebody came in through the old county road across behind us on Sir Sosimo's land and fixed all of the road where beaver ponds had come over it, and they did that with permission and within legal wetlands authorities.
So we should have a motion. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to let go.
Is there a
And
second?
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Any further discussion on item 1 on the trail?
I have a question just as a, so is that legal trail goes across other people's properties?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So they should be made aware that they're fixing it.
And we had talked about sending a letter to the property owners at both ends, just reminding them that it is a legal trail and people can access it to walk and ride 4-wheelers and horses and whatever through there.
Yeah,
That's great.
a good reminder to people.
Actually,
We gotta vote. Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
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 Excellent. So you'll be in contact with Mr. Brockett, Jay?
Yep.
Thank you.
So gravel road work has begun and the road will be closed during working hours. The Veggie Van Gogh truck was in town a couple weeks ago and it went fairly well. There was lots of volunteers and a sheriff's deputy to direct traffic. And now that people have seen the traffic flow, I think it will go even smoother next time.
How was the traffic? I didn't even notice it. I wasn't up that way, I guess.
There was people up West Street and onto Cross, but it never got out to Route 30, I don't believe. They did a good job keeping it open. And there was a few people who were confused as to how to go through, but I think now it'll go pretty smooth. I was very impressed with the whole process. It's very quick. People pull up and they get their stuff and they're on their way. And
Well,
so,
thank you for being there to monitor that and see
Yeah.
how it was working.
sure. I handed out the tortilla shells.
And we had the sheriff there directing traffic, I guess, huh?
Yeah, he was out on Route 30.
Great.
Nice.
So the Dover Road bank slide has been repaired and the paving will be done Friday. The section now requires guardrail to make it safe. I've currently left some concrete barriers in place just for the time being, but we do need to get some guardrail up there.
So again, that's in Williamsville, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
Right across from the old fire station, new fire station.
Yep.
Great.
The municipal roads equipment grant is now available to this area. We're the last one in the entire state. And we would like to share a hydro seeder with Dover.
Yeah.
And what it is, the state pays $6,000 towards it, and the town's share would be up to $1,500, depending on how much of the total comes out to. And Dover's, we've talked to the state, and they're willing to combine it so we can actually buy a decent one. And then they have paperwork to do as to maintenance and so forth. But it seems like a good deal for both towns, and the Selectboard in Dover has approved it. And that way, instead of renting one when we need it, we'll have one that's not 3 years old. It should function fairly well for years.
And this is the letter that I have in front of me.
It's just a letter of intent that you want to participate, and then it'll be probably spring before anything really happens. But we have to get the letter in by the 8th in order to be a part of the program.
I have a question, it's a really simple one. What's
Sure.
a hydro seeder?
So when we do ditching now, we have to seed it with grass seed. And if you've ever seen the green mulch looking stuff that's sprayed on after we've done stuff,
Uh-huh.
that hydro seeder, it puts mulch and grass seed all down together.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
And some stuff that helps stick it to the bank so it doesn't slide. Like, we tried hay a couple times and then the wind would come up and blow the hay into the ditch. But this works quite well. So we've been renting one for $250 a day.
yeah.
You have to go get it and you have to, so it's not always the most convenient thing.
Should we do a motion?
Look, I have another question. So who will be housing that unit? Is it back and forth or?
It'll be back and forth, yes.
Okay.
Is there a motion to sign the letter of intent to participate in the municipal road grants in
I'll
aid
make a
program?
motion.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Excellent, so we will go ahead and get this signed tonight.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to go back to one item, Jay. When you
Sure.
talked about the guardrails for Dover Road, is that part
Yes.
of the contract currently with,
No,
right? No, so,
and, once it got done, we decided after looking at it, it really needs them.
uh-huh,
I've talked with Mark Pickering, and we're still, there's a chance that'll get paid for by the state possibly. But that's still up in the air on that section. So we've got the money in guardrails to do it. So I guess we'll do it that way and try to get it paid for. If not, then we'll end up just coming out of our guardrail budget.
okay, thank you.
And then also, when do you think that's gonna happen? Is it springtime or?
The guardrails hopefully in November.
Okay.
Great.
And the last thing was Mike Fitzpatrick, Chris Williams, myself, and Scott Jensen from the state of Vermont met on Eddy Road. And it was determined that the culvert at the top of the hill needs to be double in size. So we're going to get a replacement designed at a rough cost, so we're ready to go if grant money becomes available. It's hard to say when we'll see money available, but if we've got everything ready, it'll be much easier to apply for something. And possibly get it funded. I can remember, I think 3 times that the hill's washed out, and so it's going to be and it's very narrow now. It'll be good if we can get it replaced, but it's just going to be a pricey thing. So we've got to wait till we get grant money to pay for it.
Okay.
And then the only other thing is you should have some bids.
Yes, shall we get started on those?
What's the bid for?
All the work that needs to be done.
The first one is for winter sand.
Oh, there you go.
We submit, this one's not even signed, is that still good? Okay. For winter sand, the first one is from Derek Excavating in Putney. They submit the following price for 2,500 cubic yards of winter sand to be delivered to the town garage in Limsville per the bid specs. It's $17.75 cubic yard. We also agreed to deliver any additional sand needed during the 2021-22 winter season at the same price. And the second one is from Zaluzzi Excavating Corporation from Vernon. And they are $19.75 per cubic yard delivered to the town garage.
I'd make a motion that, Jake, go over and look at that over Derek said.
Derek Excavating, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this stuff, it's really nice sand. And if it's, if he's all suitable, I'd go with their sand.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
So if it's good sand, then we're going to approve it. Do we have to bring it back?
Say if the J finds it acceptable, we go with the,
We can make a motion now. If he finds it acceptable, then we can move along with it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I did pretty much. That's what I said, I had to go look at it. And if it's, I know it's good sand, I've seen it, it's real good stuff. That's why I told Jay to give him a call, so he really got some nice sand over there.
so you good with that, Jay?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
So we amend our motion?
Is he amending the motion?
Are you amending your motion that we do that? Mike?
Who's that, me?
Yes.
Well, I thought that's what I said anyway, that I'll go look at it, and if there's approval to go with it.
There, perfect. There's a second to that motion.
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Great. That is bid number one. The second is the South Wardsboro Bank Slide. And the first bid is from Neil Daniels Construction from Ascutney, Vermont for $21,950. The second is from Fitzpatrick Excavating for $17,000. And the third from A.S. Clark for $44,700.
Oh, these are such huge differences.
There is such a huge difference.
What was that? 47,000 what?
44,000.
40.
Daniels Construction was $21,950.
Thank you.
Fitzpatrick Excavating was $17,000. And A.S. Clark and Sons was $44,700.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there a motion?
So I would make a motion to go with Fitzpatrick. Just make sure that, in everything that we have all insurances and liabilities and all that.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Excellent. And abstentions? That would be Mike.
That would be mine.
That would be Mike.
Mike.
Great.
I left the room.
Excellent.
You just got awarded the bid.
Next, we are on the River Road Bank Slide. And the first one is Daniels Construction for $9,500.
Wait, is that the River Road Bridge abutment?
This is the River Road Bank
No.
Slide Bridge
This is out in the middle of River Road.
over near Cannoli, right?
It's, right near where they cross the river.
So is that different than what's on our agenda that says River Road Bridge abutment?
We also have that one too.
That's another one.
Oh,
Oh, so we don't have them all listed here then?
It's not in order.
so then I'm confused.
Well, what's
Oh, I see. We just did the South Wardsboro. Now we're going up to number 2, which is a River Road Bank Slide.
Yeah, I was just going in order
Oh.
of the
Yes.
folders.
Got it.
Okay.
I got so easily confused.
So Daniels Construction at $9,500. Fitzpatrick Excavating at $7,000.
Yeah, right.
What was that first one?
Daniels Construction, $9,500. And then Fitzpatrick at $7,000. And A.S. Clark for $21,800.
I make a motion to go with Fitzpatrick at 7,000.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? I'm not seeing when all of these need to be done by. Do you have that, Jay?
Yep, it should be on the sheet, so November 15th.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 And abstentions.
And abstentions?
Mike's probably out of the room.
Great. And now we are at River Road Bridge Abutment Protection bid.
Okay, River Road Bridge abutment protection.
Number 3.
Yes, and that should be all of them. The first bid is from Fitzpatrick for $37,000. Daniels Construction for $55,000. And that's it. Is there a motion?
Fitzpatrick was 37.
37, yes.
So I make a motion for 37 for Fitzpatrick.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion?
What's the date on that one?
They're all November 15th, so
Oh.
I wonder if they're all gonna be able to be done by that time?
They're all November 15th?
Mhm. Mike? We have a question for Fitzpatrick
Uh-oh.
Excavating? We can't ask questions
Go ahead.
to the companies? Never mind, can't answer that question.
No, I think we just have to accept it, and that's the cutoff.
Alright, any further discussion?
Just a question of Jay. Have we ever
Yes.
not had a project done on time?
Pardon?
Have we ever had a project not done on time? And
The
what,
main thing is not being in the river, past then, we already have to have an extension to do it. So probably the South Wardsboro Road one and the River Road Bridge are the critical ones as far as that goes. The River Road bank slide is into a ditch, so that doesn't require a river permit. So that's probably the least critical, getting it done on time, but I don't know that we've ever had, within reason, I think it's been a couple of times, it might have been a couple of days, but I
yeah,
don't much more than that.
okay, but we have protocols in place if they should go over and you bring it back to the select board or something and,
Yep, it would be up to the select board at that point.
okay.
Alright, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Abstentions? Mike? Great. Do you have anything further for your road foreman and commissioners report?
No, I think that's it. The only question, I don't know if anybody has approached you, but every year the fire department does the coin drop during Heritage Festival.
Oh,
And we've always used the town office, and I don't know if anybody's asked permission to use the office to count the money.
they have not yet.
Well, can we ask permission?
Sure.
I don't see why not. Is there a
I
motion?
make a motion to give permission.
And I'll
Second?
second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all your hard work. You guys do a great job. Oh, is there a motion to accept the road foreman and commissioners report?
I make such a motion.
Second.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 And now we are at the administrative assistance report. Juanetta.
Attached to my report is the scope of services contract from New England Municipal Consultants. This is for the remaining 2022 fiscal year. Doris is expecting Ryan to work in our office before the end of this calendar year. The scope of services will need to have board approval and a signature.
Okay. So can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know, I'm sure you guys know, but just for people to understand that we're kind of moving into an assessors that are contracted because of the services that are needed, in which we cannot provide by our, appointments. So that's why we're looking at this contract. And I've spoken with Doris, and she feels very confident in this gentleman's work.
Mhm.
So I highly make a recommendation that we go ahead and accept it.
Would you make the motion to accept it for signature?
Make a motion.
I second.
All right, further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, and it just has a signature for chairperson. Is that okay if I sign that for the board?
So I make a
Yes.
motion that Angela signs for the board, on behalf of the board.
I second that.
All those in favor? Say
Aye.
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 Is this the one I signed? Okay. Any further discussion on the first item in Juaneta's report? Continue on. Thank you.
I am booking appointments for appropriation requests. I am only booking these appointments for the regular select board meetings when BCTV is recording and keeping the Monday budget nights as work sessions.
Okay.
That's great.
So as a reminder, I don't know how you write the letter out, but it's always appreciative about getting the actual statistics of how they actually affect our community members.
That is included in the letters that already went out last month. They're asked to provide a 5-minute presentation with questions and answers because I'm booking between 6 and 8 appointments a night
Wow.
on the
Perfect.
select board meeting nights.
Great.
And they're starting to fill up.
How many do we have in all?
I think there was 33 last year.
Okay.
I also make a recommendation that we have a timer on
Yes.
the table for those and also for any public comments, that we time people.
Public comments are generally addressed 3 minutes per person is what we have been doing. And Juaneta does a very good job with the timer and gets my attention. So we can go from there with that, but that's great.
I've spoken with Ashley Pringer and Mark Anderson at the Sheriff's Department, and they will be coming to present for the Windham County Sheriff's Traffic and Animal Control Program as well. So beyond appropriations, I'm looking at contracts renewing.
Excellent.
That's great.
Did we have a short-term contract?
Well, the contract for animal control was only from July until June. If you want to continue, we have to renew the contract.
No, I know, but is that with the sheriff's department?
Well, the Windham Sheriff's Department is an annual renewal, but there's been discussions about increasing the budget in order to offer more patrol time.
Oh, okay. So that's something we're gonna talk about in budget.
Well, if the public want to participate, I mean, that would be their opportunity to do so,
Yeah,
and that's
Right.
on November 1st.
November 1st.
November 1st. Thank you so much for enunciating that date.
Thank you, Juaneta.
Before we head into budget season, you, the select board, have asked us for a reminder that need to complete the annual reviews. I have provided the 4 job descriptions in the red folders. Past select boards have chosen 2 members to review the zoning administrator and the administrative assistant. The road commissioner and a board member will review the road foreman, and the road foreman and road commissioner do the highway crew. Each employee does a self-evaluation, and then they meet to review and discuss the information.
Should we go through that now to see who's going, if we have volunteers on who wants to help out with all of these, or do we want just one board member?
I like to be able to do the road commissioner, because I actually don't know all the gentlemen, people that work there.
Okay. So zoning
And I've never
administrator,
been there.
so the zoning administrator needs 2 board members.
I would do that. And I would do the administrative assistant.
I can do the zoning and administrative assistant. Shelley, you would be willing to do the commissioner?
Yeah.
Well,
And road-
it's the road foreman, and you would be doing it with Christopher,
Okay.
For
And
Jay,
I haven't seen
that's
this
for Jay.
correct?
So
Okay.
Shelley and Christopher for Jay. Ann and
Oh,
I,
for G.
it's for
okay.
Jay's position, yeah.
Okay.
And then Jay does.
Do you
staff
wanna
acquisition.
participate in one, Katy?
I would be glad to, but I don't know where or when, or, I'm sorry, I have the steps with me, but not the,
Well, maybe you and Ann could do the zoning administrator. Ann and Katie, and then Ann and I will do the administrative assistant. And then everybody has a part.
Does,
You don't mind doing two?
Say it again?
You don't
I
mind
don't
doing
know.
two?
The
Okay,
zoning administrator,
that's Merle.
is he back?
He is back.
Yeah.
Quick.
does Shelly
We
and
got
Mike,
all covered.
does Shelly and Mike wanna do it, or Mike's familiar? I mean, just a
Do you want Mike
suggestion.
to work with you with
With the
the,
highway crew?
yes,
Yeah, I'm not
who
the,
is,
it's not the highway crew, it's the
it's for
Jays.
Jay.
Yeah,
So Mike and Shelley with Christopher do Jay. Ann and Katie will do zoning administrator, and Ann and I will do the administrative assistant. That covers.
who
everything.
reviews the road commissioner?
He's,
That's
he's appointed. He's appointed, so he doesn't.
he doesn't get a
He
review.
doesn't get a review. We appoint him every year.
But it's listed as that
It's supposed
two
to,
members review the zoning administrator, the administrative assistant, the zoning commissioner.
and a
or sorry,
board
the road
member.
Commissioner. I'm very confused.
It's just written a little bit different. So it's the road commissioner and the board member will review for Jay's position.
So after administrative assistant,
There
there
should be a period there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Perfect. We've got it all set. When do you need these done by?
Before your budget season starts on the 12th.
Doesn't have to be before the 12th, does it?
Well,
It has to be before it ends,
What do you mean, 12th of November?
Well,
October should be.
your budget season starts
our budget season.
October 12th. So we have,
Can we do this by the end of the month?
Mhm.
By October, by November 1st, they should all be done?
sounds good.
Perfect.
That sounds reasonable.
I'm sorry, no, by
By November 1st, all of them should be done.
Is there a form that we fill out? Do we
In your
have-
folder,
There's a form.
and then they come back to the human resources, which is I.
Except for yours.
You can-
Okay, great. So if there's
Nice.
any questions, please reach out to Juanetta and she'll let you know.
Very good.
Okay,
Keep
and
going.
then the last item, for your records, I have provided a copy of a letter received from the United States Department of Agriculture dated 9/24/2021 regarding the Emergency Watershed Protection Program for the property at 65 Baker Brook Road.
Mhm.
It appears to be just an overview of their site visit,
Mm-hmm.
and right now, nothing affirmed has come through this. The last item that I'm going to mention is, there's a settlement review from the Attorney General's Office of the State of Vermont regarding the opioid settlement.
Mhm.
In order for us to be, a party to this and be a participant, we have to complete our representation by the 22nd of January. I included it in your packets this weekend,
So,
and this helps to recover costs or to help set up programs for those dealing with or any of the,
Opioid crisis.
thank you.
May I make a recommendation that we all take a moment to read this and come back to it, at one of the next meetings in November?
yeah,
Yeah, I've already got names running through my head of a list of people locally who have been affected.
I mean, all this is asking us to do is to affirm that we want to be part of this settlement.
right.
It
the only
doesn't
thing.
cost us anything to be a party to it, but it does allow us to have funds given
To us.
Right.
to the municipality for treating and providing assistance to those.
So basically it says, how do you participate in the settlements? It says you must go to the National Settlement website to register, to receive in the coming weeks and months the documentation your subdivision will need to participate.
Do we wanna make a motion
I
that
just
this
say-
town wants to participate
I would
and have Juanetta
Handle it.
Handle it.
I make a motion that we do that. We have Angela, Juanetta,
fill out the
fill out
necessary?
the necessary items and just report back to us any forthcoming information.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you, Lana. Anything further on your report?
That is it.
Is there a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept.
A
I'll
second?
second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 And now we are on to the treasurer and delinquent tax collector report. Hi, Melissa.
Hi,
Good to have you with us tonight.
thanks. I think I'm gonna have Juanetta read my report because I've been sick, so I'll just start coughing. That's
Oh.
okay.
She'll be available for questions and answers. Okay, so, reading for Melissa, I recently completed fiscal year 21's audit. Everything went very well. You should be receiving the audit report soon. Newfane was randomly selected to be part of the VEMR's, which is Vermont Municipal Employee Retirement Audit. That went well and is completed. The first deadline for ARPA reporting has been postponed until next April.
Oh,
I have created a separate fund just for ARPA in NEMRIC. I attended the town fair via Zoom today, which was all about ARPA reporting and requirements. Juanetta and I will be attending the meeting in Townsend tomorrow morning in regards to FEMA reporting and guidelines. Carol and I recently attended a 2-day conference at Lake Maury for treasurers and clerks. I attended classes understanding fund accounting, making Excel work for you, state and federal highway grants, tax department information and answers, and some other general sessions. Taxes are being received in a timely fashion. All monthly and quarterly reports are processed on time. I will be emailing my monthly reports tomorrow to everyone. I am preparing information for the budget meeting next week.
oh, good.
I have been working with attorney Michael McGillian in regards to processing the tax sales. We have scheduled these tax sales for October 13th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. here at the town office. I will need someone from the Selectboard to attend, or someone the Selectboard authorizes to bid on properties that do not receive any bids. Currently, there are only 3 properties in tax sale. The others are either paid in full or still making monthly payments. Respectfully, Melissa Brown.
So is there someone that can be here October 13th? I have to.
I will,
Shelley?
yeah,
What is October 13th?
right.
What day of the week?
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
Do we need to have a
Yeah.
motion? There are motions. Is that your motion, Katy?
That was my motion.
Is there a motion to have Shelley,
Do we need a
be
motion?
the select board member to authorize to bid on the property?
I make such a motion.
Second,
I second that motion.
any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 I think just to make it legitimate, we should have a motion.
I guess the question is how much, do we bid on? Those details or,
Is that something
It's
she
the
talked
minimum
to?
bid. If there's no other bids, the town has to buy it. So
Okay,
it's
so
whatever the bid is
it's
for,
just the minimum, okay.
right, Melissa?
That's correct.
You've been really busy. Thank you for all your hard work.
Yes, thank you, you're awesome.
Thanks you.
Is there anything further for the treasurer's report?
Nope.
Is there a motion to accept?
I make such a motion.
How about a second?
Who was the first?
And
Okay.
Mike, you want a second?
Sure. Yep. That'll work.
Any further discussion?
Knock it off. Excuse me.
Whoa.
We didn't do anything.
Wow.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Um,
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
I apologize for being the comedy relief.
All right, committee reports, and I believe our wonderful planning commission has a report.
Yes, so the Planning Commission held a meeting last night from 6 until 7 o'clock on Sunday, October 3rd, and it was all about ARPA funding for Newfane and all about the survey that all the surveys have been sent out to the people of Newfane. And so I make a direct appeal to the residents and people of Newfane to do simply one thing: fill out your survey. Please fill out your survey. And if you need more surveys, they are available here at the town office. They're also available at More Free Library. And also, if you go on our website, the Town of Newfane website, you will see a notification about the town survey as well as SurveyMonkey. So you may go on to SurveyMonkey and fill it out there. So due to a printing error, we did have the intention to have surveys printed on both sides. You did receive a survey printed, alas, on one side. However, fear not, fear not. You do have SurveyMonkey. You do have surveys here, again, at the town office and at More Free Library. And so there are plenty of surveys to go around. And I will give my phone number to you, Town of Newfane, 365-9499. If you have any questions about the survey, how to fill it out, what to do with it, of course, fill it out. I'll go to your house and pick it up and bring it to the town here. We are very much eager for your input, because it's only with your input, Town of Newfane, that we, as a planning commission, can put together our report so that we may bring our report to you, Selectboard, we believe and hope, and our goal is November 1st. So the deadline is October 15th, and today is the 3rd or 4th. And so there is yet time, but do not delay. Send in your survey today, and I thank you.
Thank you,
So-
Ken.
Thank you, Ken. Ken, do you know offhand how many surveys have already been completed?
Yes, and I'm going to also appeal to Lynn to back up a number that she's working with SurveyMonkey, but right in back of me, in fact, as a visual, hang on, right here, we have 49 surveys. So we're very happy about this, 49.
Wonderful.
And Lynn, how many do we have on SurveyMonkey?
As of probably lunchtime, there are about 45
Okay,
that we have. I will remind people that we'll be having a Zoom meeting on October 3rd at 7 o'clock, correct?
That we already did.
That was last night.
October 13.
So the address for that, again, is on the town website. Go to zoom.com and put that address in. You don't need a password. And you can join the meeting if you have any questions about the survey or want some more information. Select board member Ann Gollop will be doing a presentation as she did last night. Thank you very much, Ann. That was great. So join us on October 13th. That's a Wednesday evening
What time?
at 7 o'clock.
I thank you guys for all of your hard work, and I look forward to seeing the results. This is great. Do you have anything further other than one more plea?
Yes.
One more plea to the town?
I'd like to make one more plea. Send in your survey as soon as possible, by mail, by SurveyMonkey. And again, if you have any questions, you can call me, Ken Esty, 365-9499. Juanetta is also taking questions. Juanetta has surveys, the town office, More Free Library, And indeed, if you have any questions that you want to ask at the meeting, again, October 13th at 7 p.m. And and I just want to publicly thank Ann for extraordinary presentation last night on the ins and outs of the American Rescue Plan Act, as well as my colleagues on the Planning Commission, Kate Gehring and Lynn Forrest, who spoke, Jane Douglas, who's hiding out behind a box there, but she will emerge. There's Jane, as well as Nolan Edgar. And so, there's just been so much great teamwork, and we're super excited and just very much want Newfane to step up, fill out the surveys, send them in. Let's get as much input as we can. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any other committee reports? All right. Now we are at scheduled member of the public, and I do not have anything listed on our agenda. And we have unscheduled members of the public, and I see a lot of folks here tonight, and I love to see the attendance. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we're all happy, yeah.
Anybody like to speak? Don't be shy. We'll move on to one more look at things. Move on to old business, which we have none, and new business. The first thing is the BDCC Newsletter link on Newfane website. Shelly.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I don't know if you've added it to it, Winona?
I have not added it, only because it takes a motion and a complete board member to direct me to do it. And I have not been directed to do it, but I do believe that Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation is a link in our directory.
Right.
But as far as putting their newsletter, publishing their newsletter on the town website, it could take up more valuable space.
Yeah.
But I do believe that Bauman has already included them as links to
Right.
getting further information.
Yeah, because it's like 32 pages.
Yeah.
I didn't even print it out. But I guess the point is that to be able to have our businesses in our town understand that that's an opportunity that they should be tapping into, and just making it aware. I mean, they do so much, and they have they have space available. So if you wanted to rent space as a business, but they offer classes all the time, and I just highly recommend them. And they have a lot of funding that they're receiving. So I guess the question is, we have a business page there or businesses listed. If there's some way that we can put it on our website so that there's a business section, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What do we have now? I don't remember.
There's a listing of businesses that you can sign up for. And let's see, Town of Newfane.
But this BDCC is already listed on our website?
Yeah, it's listed, but it's not, what I'm asking, I guess, is to make it more of a business section, for business people, because that's part of what we'd like to be able to develop more here, I think.
So,
Yes.
I have a question.
oh, yes, one other thing.
On Friday, I spoke with Ken. Thursday's newspaper did a wonderful article on the Brattleboro Chamber of Commerce appointing Greg Lesh as our new executive director.
Yep.
This is a perfect example of having Newfane's own Chamber of Commerce. This would be an
Yes.
awesome beginning of the vision. And I found the perfect place I need to talk to Ken about, because not only would we be
I
able
thought
to
about
have,
it for years.
not only would we be able to have our own small chamber of commerce information booth,
Yeah, you're,
but we could second it as a bus stop for when transportation starts
Oh,
coming
public
through the West River
transportation.
Valley.
yeah,
You know, doing a multifunction, it's a small building.
yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
a good
been
idea.
vacant for 10 or 12 years.
I think I know who you're talking about, where you're talking about.
I haven't brought it to anybody else's, and I fear to mention where it is.
Yeah.
But this is a perfect example of what you're looking for
Yeah,
and what would develop Newfane.
yeah,
Having our own chamber of commerce.
yeah.
It would be nice to
And
have.
we have also, I have, had people approach me and, show me, the models that are happening in Brattleboro, also in Dover. We might be small enough that we could include Jamaica and Townsend and Brookline and have a larger chamber of commerce.
Yeah,
But I think it's something that we as a community, if we are looking to grow, need to lean on each other a bit and definitely spend some time discussing at length.
Yes, and it'd be great to have that information out and so people can access it easily.
yeah, because Route 30 is the gateway to the rest of Vermont out of Brattleboro. And, you know, there's so many businesses off the beaten track. So,
So, Lynn?
Hi, just some background. I think it was maybe 2015. Wyndham Regional Commission had a working group to establish a business association or discuss, let me restate that. Had a working group to discuss how the businesses from Brattleboro to Stratton could work together. Ran into an issue because the group kept changing. But I think the overall feeling at that point by the business owners who were participating was they were not interested in any kind of chamber of commerce. And so that organization, that group, stopped meeting. So I just want to put that out so you have some background. Having worked for two chambers of commerce, I think they're great and I totally support them, but I just wanted you to have some background on that. It's also on the survey. One of the things on the survey is to promote local businesses in a number of different ways. So,
Right.
And we'll see if, how many votes that gets. Let's put it that way.
Thank you, Lynn.
so
Katie?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to form my thought. I'm not sure which direction to go with it. I know, so Dover's position, Dover and Brattleboro both have a 1% tax that adds on to local businesses to generate some money for the town. The person who is in charge of the Chamber of Commerce is a local Newfane resident, and his position is paid in full by that 1% tax.
right.
I think the 1% tax would be something that would be beneficial to us as a whole. And not outside means it wouldn't directly affect Newfane residents themselves. It would be everybody who's purchasing anything from any of our businesses. And it's a great way to generate some extra money for the town and a position like that. And so it does bear thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, also with the consulting, you know, opportunity that we're developing for economic development that would tie into it. And that's a part of it. And I came from Saratoga Springs, New York. It was huge over there. And there was a lot of entities that, you know, benefited from the increased tourism. And convention bureau and the convention center that I worked at.
Maybe
Let me
the-
just clarify, the Chamber of Commerce, I always think of as an independent, not-for-profit, not associated with the town. Is that not the case?
It's a separate entity, but they do receive funding from the town, and other entities, their membership.
Yeah, they do have membership fees.
Membership fees. So, I mean, it's,
Something
I
to look
think-
into.
I think with the ARPA funding,
Mhm.
there might be an opportunity to kind of kickstart a position, or a, entity. Now, of course, I think Newfane anew was a product of not doing a chamber, and it was working to, further, I think businesses and
It used to be the
activities.
business association, the Newfane Business Association, and then it turned into community volunteers.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, there's been that, development through, but I think it's time to maybe look at it with the funding options that we have coming through.
Well, I guess the one first step would be discussions with business owners in town. They
Yeah,
would obviously have to support it.
right.
Okay.
Do we wanna keep this on our agenda for
Yeah, I
the
think,
next few meetings
Yeah.
and see where we end up, especially after the survey comes through and what people think?
Right.
Because I think the next step
Yep.
would really be talking to business owners, and I mean, if the business owners say they're not interested, that's the end of it, really. There
Right.
are other kinds of economic development that we can look at, but I think for a chamber, we really have to be sure that the local businesses want to be a part of it.
Ken?
Yeah, and also just to say that our sense of business owners can sometimes, be like restricted to what we see on Route 30, for instance, but also keeping in mind business owners who are operating out of their homes with shingles or without shingles, that are definitely businesses, but may
A lot
not
of
be so
artists.
very visible, as in like, say, Newfane stores or something like this.
Juanetta?
When I was contemplating my idea of this information,
yeah,
it wasn't necessarily to do it as a chamber of commerce like Brattleboro has, where we charge fees, but if somebody had an idea, an artist, they could rent a space on the wall, a 3x5, and put their wares or their information or their postcards or their shingle or whatever, photographs,
Yeah.
and kind of do it as an information booth, but also do it as a bus stop,
yeah,
for transportation.
I like that.
That's a
and,
neat
and,
idea.
and to let it grow on that, not necessarily put $10,000 into it and then have it fall. I mean, do it as a small thing and let it grow.
Yeah.
Get other people coming on.
So, Madam Chair, there's also a lot of pop-up, and what I just saw again was the bookstore here. I can't think what the name of it is, but they're having a
Yeah,
The old bookstore.
yeah,
Mary Hills.
over on West Street. Now, there's a whole big thing in the state of Vermont, and there's different towns that have used these pop-up art, pop-up businesses, pop-up whatever, and it's a testing ground for ideas, to go forward. So 2 years ago, when I went to the town, the big meeting through BLTC, that was a big thing that people were very successful in doing. And, even blanking off spaces, just to see how that space worked as something in town, and it's a trial and error process. So before, we did anything, I think that would be a great thing for us to kind of look into through this consultant, for the
Right.
business aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Development.
also use the survey and what people are thinking and go from there.
Yeah,
So keep it on the agenda for
Yeah.
discussion and see what people come up with throughout.
you could
Does
just
that
say,
sound good?
that's what I was asking about, like business development.
Mhm.
economic development, we can put the consultant under that,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So, I don't think we need a
So we
motion for
could-
that.
I don't think so. Do we have anything further we wanna talk about with that, or shall we just keep it on our agenda and keep talking about it until we come up with like,
Yeah, just keep mentioning Brattleboro Development Credit Corp as a great resource for businesses, and just because we're a Newfane, we're a part of it,
right?
take advantage of it.
All right, so we'll move on to Katy. You are going to talk about continuing education.
I am not ready to talk about continuing education at this time.
Would you like us to move that to our October 18th meeting or November 1st?
Or you'll let us know.
Yes, or you'll let Juanetta know to put it on the agenda.
She can't really think right now, she's sick.
Sorry, my calendar is in my phone that I'm using for Zoom, so I can't look at my calendar.
How about we leave it that you talk to Juanetta when you're ready?
Okay, that sounds good.
Perfect. And then Mike,
Yeah,
I have you talking about real estate options. Are you good to talk about it, or are we?
we can go over a little bit so people start to know what we're looking at, you know.
Well, you have the floor.
Well, we brought it to the town here 3 weeks ago.
Can you speak louder?
Can you hear me now?
Can you yell?
Can these people hear?
Can you all hear him?
Closer.
Can you hear me or not?
To the mic? I don't think the cord can. No, not that mic.
Thank you.
That thing?
All right, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so we brought it to the town, they had an offer to the town about 3 weeks ago to purchase a piece of property off of River Road and Bradway Hill, which is former Mercedes property. There's 21 acres in there. And it's pretty much all sand and gravel. And so we've been looking at it, Jay Wilson, myself, and some other ones, and Jay had brought an engineer up here this week and done some holes so they could test the gravel and the sand, and they're gonna give us a report on it. But, we've been looking at to purchase it because sand and gravel is getting really scarce. And it's starting to cost the town a lot more money and everything else, and the purchase price of this property is $450,000, but there's probably 500,000 yards plus of gravel on this property. And, we just thought it was a good deal. We're gonna do a lot more studying on it. We wanna bring it to the town for like a special meeting, to have a vote on it, to see if the town's willing to purchase this thing. But this thing should last the town, 10 to 20, maybe longer years. I mean, and in the long run, it will save the town millions of dollars, really. And, so I think it's a good thing. Jay thought it was a really good thing. And that's why we're bringing it to the town. It's just a thing we had it offered to us, to look at buying it. Once they put houses on it, it's gone forever. So that's why we're trying to look at it now. That's one of the pushes, to look at it and try to get the study done and to bring it to the town before town meeting. And we'd like to do this maybe sometime in November, or something like that, by the end of November, to have a vote on it.
And just to clarify, I just wanted to say that the study that's being done of the gravel pit and the cores that they took out to analyze, the plan is for that to be finished within 3 weeks. So once we have that report and it validates the quality of the gravel and estimates the extent of how much there is, then we will put out a call for a townwide meeting.
Right.
To do a vote.
Yeah.
And can you, Mike,
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
can you speak to the fact that the sand, gravel is very limited in this northeast area? What the extent of it is?
Yeah, I mean, gravel and sand is getting really scarce because it's harder and harder for the did get 2 bids tonight from Solidity and Derek, which I think, Derek's was a better sand. But, with all the towns that are gonna be needing it, I mean, you got Marlboro, Dover, everybody, right up the whole valley of it for the sand, and, it's not gonna last long. And if the town could buy their own pit, I mean, Putney and Dummerston, they bought one last year, so they'd have their own materials. And, the town's got a chance to purchase a piece of land, it's got it on it that could last, like I said, 20 years or plus or whatever, But I said, even when it's all done, it's a piece of land the town could do something with. When it was all done, like Jay and I was talking to Jay about it, who knows, 10, 20 years down the road, maybe they want a big recreation area down in Newfane for the kids and different things like that, to play on and stuff. Right now they got the school, but I don't think the school really likes them down there playing. And, there's all kinds of things that the town could do on it after too, But right now, I know what gravel's costing and what it's gonna cost. And when the short supply, when there's only 1 or 2 of them doing it, it's gonna go up a lot.
Great.
Chain board.
Do we have any questions from the public? Hi, Chris, thank you.
How much do we spend every year for that, for those 2 products? That would be a big influence of how people would feel about it, I would think.
Well,
Right now, we're spending roughly about $150,000 a year. I think it's maybe 130, 150,000 a year for gravel. I mean, it's just like tonight when we opened some bids. The sand is up to 17 something a yard. I've been doing it, like I said, I've been supplying the town for 30 some years for gravel and sand. And I think last year, I was right around $12. So it went up $5 a yard this year. I mean, pretty quick, it'd be double what they were paying for it. Gravel's gone up probably $10 a yard this year.
Am I correct in understanding, Mike, that budget is going to nearly double when we have to truck in sand and gravel from further away outside of the county?
Well, that's what I'm saying, yes, right. Because right now, if we go through, 4,000 yards of sand, say, and it doubles the price, I mean, to keep it at the 4,000 yards of sand with the money that we got in there, like I said, it's already went up $5. I mean, you're gonna either have to double your budget or use a lot less material.
All right, Tom?
Mike, there's a byproduct to the sand and the gravel. We're gonna get some stone out of that as well, aren't we?
Well, yeah, when you stream the sand, you'll have some stone, but like I told Jay, you take the stone and make it into crushed gravel or whatever. For the
Exactly.
road.
That's a lot of the townspeople don't realize that there is a byproduct to sifting out the sand. We're gonna get some stone out of it, and that's expensive too.
Yeah, stone's really expensive. That's probably another $7 more a yard than crushed gravel.
Oh yeah, I just spent $450 a truckload.
But it's, like I said, it's either they're gonna cut back on what they use for winter sand and gravel on their roads if they want to keep the same kind of budget, or that budget is gonna at least half again as much, So if it's 150,000 now, it's gonna be up to 225. Like I said, if you're buying this land at 450, it's got the material on it. 2 years would have paid for the property anyways,
So, and like what Mike said, is once we get the report back, it will be made available, and then we will have a special town meeting for the town to vote on whether or not to purchase.
Alright.
Ken?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah?
Yeah, Ken here. In terms of that report, what would prove to be a deterrent from buying that property? In other words, what would the report have to say before, what would the report have to say in which you would then conclude, no way, we can't do this, or we shouldn't do this?
Well, if it came back to be all clay or something like that, even if there's some ledge down in there, you can always blast it out and the town can reuse the ledge, I mean, when I brought it to the town, Radway Hill from River Road because we rebuilt the road up the dead end of Radway Hill, and Mercedes traded, after we got the road done, Mercedes traded that property for where the old road was down by his barn. So we used a lot of material out there to put that road up through there. And, yeah, we used it on the, down in that development where he's doing down in the field. And we used it on a lot of his property, and it was good material. You know, like Jay and him went up the other day, dug holes, you know, he probably went down 20 feet with the excavator and stuff. And, you know, that's only 20 feet. You're probably 50 to 60 feet from the top of the bank down to River Road that you could go on. Yeah, it's like, you know, we figured it up one day. I was figuring it up like one day, just trying to show her different things. How you come up with this stuff, and I figured out, you know, like I said, even if you would use worst case scenario, that out of 21 acres, we only use 15 of it, like sloping in the sides and everything else, you know, at 30 feet deep, it figures up to 48,000 some odd yards of gravel. When you went times to 15, it come out to 720 some thousand yards of material, which actually figured up to $1.60 a yard to pay for the property. And I said, I mean, I know there's a lot of material in it, but, you know, we're gonna do some testing and stuff, so nobody's just taking my word, but, I know it'd be a good deal for the town to get this property, and it should last the town a lot of years, you know. It's, like I said, gravel's getting scarcer, but it's gonna need to have to go up, we're gonna have to use a lot less material.
Mike, Tom has another question.
The proximity to the town of that property, we're gonna have a huge savings in fuel costs of trucking, as you had mentioned earlier, the cost of trucking.
Yeah. Right.
Fuel is going up every day, and next year we could be looking at double.
Right. Yeah, as I said, it's gonna be a huge savings to the town, you know, I mean, you know, the town years ago had their own gravel bank anyways, and that's where the dump ended up.
Yeah.
You know, after they took the gravel out of it, they put the dump in its place. They
On
filled it all
Browns.
back in with garbage and covered it all over, and now we got a solar field on it.
Lynn,
You know, so,
I'm gonna interrupt you, Mike, because Lynn has a question. Go ahead, Lynn.
Okay, I just needed to unmute myself. Would you just briefly summarize what this discussion is? The audio isn't great. So if you could just, you know, like in a sentence or two, just say the town is considering X, that would be real helpful for those of us at home.
The town is looking at a piece of property over off Radway Hill by River Road, to purchase to use as a gravel sand pit. And in turn would save the town a lot of money since prices are going up.
And it's about 21 acres.
Yeah, for $450,000.
Yeah.
But once we get the report back, because we have somebody looking at it, it will be made available, and then we will have a special town meeting for the public to vote on whether to purchase or not.
And that should be coming in next week, at the end of the week, at some point, approximately. Does that sound right, everyone?
Yes.
yeah.
And did I hear it's 21 acres?
Yes.
Yes.
And would that all be for sand and gravel, or would there be other property land on that wasn't sand and gravel?
Shelly?
So he mentioned that, say we use like 15 acres of it, you know, for the sand and gravel, there would be remaining amount. And down the road, or even concurrently, while we're using the sand and gravel off that property, I've also looked at the development of that property because it was set up for 8 houses, building houses. So it could be a cluster. We could do 3 or 4, you know, elder cluster housing or some other idea. The gravel pit will run, but during the day, but not on the weekends. So it's just, there's also some other options available.
Okay, thank you very much.
Tom?
The other idea too is that this could be a source of revenue for the town because the other towns are in a similar situation. They need gravel and sand. there's nothing that says that we can't be selling that to or trading options with the surrounding towns.
That's
It's
something-
also in close proximity to Route 30, so it's a good,
Thomas speaking, can we let him finish before we interrupt? Go ahead, Tom.
it could become a source of additional revenue because there's enough there that we could be selling it to the other towns or private individuals.
That's good thought.
If you sell it, you get tied up in a whole Act 250.
Ah, yes.
Right. Currently, we don't have to do that, or at least as far as we think, we don't have to do it because it will be owned by the town for town use, and we can skirt Act 250
Right.
because we aren't using it for anything else or selling it to someone else. So if we do, Tom, that is a wonderful idea. However, that involves a huge Act 250 process, which is not something that we necessarily have to do.
Selling to another town would be a way to skirt around this Act 250.
If you sell to
No.
another
We would have to apply for Act 250
Okay.
if we were to do that.
And he's selling.
So this is good information for the town, so everyone will make you.
Lynn has her
Oh,
hand
Lynn,
up.
you still have a question?
Your hand is up, Lynn.
I take that as a
Okay.
no. So we will let everyone know when the report is in, and then we will make a public announcement of when we're going to have a special town meeting on this real estate option and let the town's folks make the decision.
I'm really excited to see what this report says.
Yes, me
Honestly.
too.
I can't wait.
Anything further, or can we move on?
That's what life has become.
Are we good, or is there anything further? Mike, are you all set?
I'm all set.
Great, thank you for presenting.
Yeah, well, thanks everybody listening.
So now we're going to move on to correspondence. We do have a lengthy letter from Erica Walsh. It's comments and opinions about our September 20th meeting. And I'm going to, so everyone can hear, read like this. It's to the Select Board, September 24th, 2021. Dear Newfane Select Board, I watched the video of the Select Board meeting of September 20th with interest. I see that the WRVMA Anti-Racism Subcommittee is at it again, trying to run the town. At a previous Select Board meeting, you approved rules that require speakers to address you, the Select Board, directly rather than for members of the public to address each other during your meetings. You also, I believe, made a rule that each member of the public could speak on a topic once for 3 minutes, and then were to stop unless requested by the chair to continue. Those rules seemed reasonable, but were not followed on 9/20. I was also interested to hear Juliet Carr, parentheses, she/her, end parentheses, state that, quote, half the members of the WRVMA are town volunteers, end quote. Parentheses, meaning elected and appointed officials, end parentheses. It is, to use a favorite term of the WRVMA group, problematic to think that large numbers of the town government are part of a political action group that is trying to steer the town's policies and decisions. This sounds like an attempt to work on policy outside of public meetings and may well entail violations to Vermont's open meeting laws. One of the ways fascism takes hold is through secrecy, and one of the ways democracy flourishes is in transparency. Here's the definition of, quote, fascism from dictionary.com. A governmental system led by a dictator having complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism, regimenting all industry, commerce, etc., and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism. Some members of this group are taking calculated aim at governmental, educational, and cultural institutions in this town in an effort to control them and eradicate dissent, opposition, and criticism. It sounds like an awful lot like that definition of fascism. Back in May, I had the audacity to disagree with this group's request to the Select Board about anti-racist or anti-bias training in some language they wanted the Select Board to post on the town website. In a letter that I wrote as a citizen of the town to you, the select board, I compared people who oppose diversity of ideas then, as I compare them now, to the cultural revolutionaries of communist China. I said then, as I say now, that the anti-racist industrial complex is divisive, reduces people to their skin color, is anti-individual, anti-American, and thank you, hate, rather than just say, well, I guess people have different opinions, or gasp, actually have a conversation about ideas with someone who dares to disagree with them. A small group of WRBMA members, let me be clear that this was about a dozen people, not the entire group, started writing letters to my employer, the Board of Trustees of the More Free Library, demanding that I be fired because of my opposition to them and that one of their number replaced me in the job. This from a group that claims to be all about diversity and create a good community where everyone feels welcome. Not a single member of this group of bullies talked to me directly, because that is not the way of bullies. They would rather stifle opposition through whispering campaigns and poison pen letters written behind the backs of anyone who dares to disagree with them. They then insisted on having some sort of grievance circle with the trustees to talk about me and my politics. I was not invited to this circle, even though I was subject of it, and the trustees were told that they were not to share the names of the complainers or the contents of this circle with me. Fascistic? You betcha. I quit the library, in part because of the WRBMA's bully squad. Many people in town, even other members of WRBMA, were appalled by these tactics and urged me to stay and fight them. But I chose to find a better, more peaceful job instead. When people are writing threatening letters behind your back and your employer agrees not to discuss their threats with you, it's pretty hard to counteract whatever's being said. Recently, there was a discussion on Front Porch Forum about the meaning of flags a family is flying on their property. The discussion was sparked off by a person saying, quote, "Does anyone know what the story is with those flags on Route 30?" End quote. This Front Porch Forum poster, rather than asking her neighbors directly what their flags meant, decided to ask other people to spout their opinions. The person whose home this is very reasonably and kindly responded by encouraging anyone who'd like to know why they fly the flags to stop by for a neighborly chat and coffee. The Front Porch Forum chatter continued for days, with someone bringing out the inevitable "I don't feel safe" card. This, quote, "I don't feel safe" card is meant to stop any and all discussion because the person who lays that card on the table is operating in an intellectual framework where they believe that their emotional state is the responsibility of everyone else, and not them. This is a ploy to distract attention from any real discussion about important issues. If someone feels generally unsafe because another person disagrees with them or is flying the American flag, then clearly that person needs psychological help. The quote, "I don't feel comfortable" card, or even better, the quote, "other people might not feel comfortable," end quote, making the fake discomfort even less real by foisting it on imaginary people, is next in the deck of ploys to control a situation without having to engage in any intellectual discussion or disagreement. This one is currently being played at Newbrook Elementary School, where it looks like Christmas, including Santa, least religious figure ever, is going to be canceled because some imaginary people might not feel comfortable seeing Santa on the walls. And this is what WRBMA is saying in support of their idea for anti-racist or anti-bias training. Some imaginary people might not feel comfortable moving to Newfane if the town government doesn't do exactly what WRBMA's subcommittee wants. All of this stuff is of a piece. The foisting of responsibility for emotional instability, the divisiveness of reducing people to their skin color, the secret letter writing and social media hand-wringing. It's all wrapped up in the worldview that WRBMA wants to be the worldview. And if you disagree with it, you are problematic and must be canceled, cowed, or converted. This is a philosophy that craves uniformity and wants the government to enforce it. Reread the definition of fascism. When it comes to what the WRBMA anti-racist subcommittee is currently asking for, I've heard members of the public, planning commission members, and members of the WRBMA gang rhetorically asking questions along the lines of, quote, I just can't understand why anyone would oppose what we're trying to do here, end quote. When you find yourself saying that, then you should go ask the people who oppose you. Otherwise, you clearly don't want to understand people with views that are diverse from your own. So let me answer that rhetorical question. I oppose the WRBMA Anti-Racist Subcommittee's push to get the town to buy into the anti-racist industrial complex because what they want has nothing to do with anti-bias or anti-racism training, which is already available to any town official or employee who wants to take advantage of it. It has to do with their attempt to steer the town government. This group has an agenda to control the government, the school, and the library, all the institutions that should be free, should allow for disagreement and diversity of views, and should be open to all. They want to remove access to information and enforce a uniformity of thought in the population, or at least a fear of dissent, lest they make your job or your life unbearably difficult. Any training they recommend will be focused on division and strife and will likely teach the official response to, quote, I don't feel safe, end quote, Floyd, is to grovel and perform acts of contrition rather than to referring the person claiming that to get psychological help. When it comes to examining biases, it might be too much to hope, but perhaps WRBMA members and sympathizers whom I have heard using the term, quote, rednecks and, quote, white trash, and saying, quote, oh, I bet that's a Trump supporter, end quote, as if that is the most heinous possible crime, could be the change they want to see and look at what their own biases are. But that's unlikely to happen, as they believe themselves to be morally and intellectually superior and fundamentally correct about everything, and it's only the rest of us poor slobs who need to go to their approved re-education programs. It seems a lot like the Taliban. In an effort to help create a pathway to have civil political conversations that focus on issues and not on emotions, I tried, on behalf of the Newfane Republican Committee, to get a Braver Angels chapter started in Newfane. This is a totally nonpartisan national group, parentheses, and actual nonprofit, end parentheses, that aims for increased understanding across the political divide. The one requirement is that you have to have an equal number of left-leaning and right-leaning members. You'd think that this would be a great chance for the Democratic Town Committee and the WRBMA people to have structured, issue-based, face-to-face discussions with people who disagree with them. Nope. We couldn't get enough left-leaning people willing to engage and start a chapter. The same thing happened in Brattleboro and Putney, the towns they are recommending you model yourselves after. This is the way of people who fundamentally know they are wrong. If their ideas could withstand scrutiny, they would welcome discussion. Instead, they must fear that their ideas are indefensible, so they instead try to impose them through irrational means. I hope, dear Selectboard, that you will reject this latest attempt by this group to control the town government. Perhaps if institutions start saying no, they will eventually stop making demands. They certainly give the impression that they are quite confident that it is they who are in charge of the cultural, educational, and government institutions in this town. Sincerely, Erica Walsh.
Thanks for reading it.
Thank you.
Oh, that's quite a letter.
It is quite a letter.
Quite a letter, and I just can't believe people are doing that. I mean, that's one of the things when they first come to us, Don wanted us to do all this thing with the employees, which, like you said, it was out there, or she said it was out there. I mean, what kind of group do these people have that they're going to get their house, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, everybody should all try to get along. This doesn't sound like they're getting along at all,
Well, this letter is available to anybody who'd like a copy of it or would like to come into the office to review. Like I said at the beginning, it was an opinion on the meeting that we had on September 20th. And thank you, everyone. And I appreciate everyone being here tonight. We're going to move on into, that was our only correspondence for the night, and we're going to move right into pay orders. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing everyone another evening, and stay safe, and hopefully the sun comes out soon.
I know.
Not more rain.
Warm up a little bit. Enjoy the fall.